And hello, and welcome to the League of, of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my lovely, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
You're so sweet. Happy Friday, guys. And welcome to LEAH, episode for me in Florida, number 2, an official quarantine, number 3 from the time I self-quarantined. So here we go.
Here we go.
I guess we'll just get a little sillier and a little crazier each time. I'm not sure. Maybe a little smarter. Let's hope for that. We'll do a little bit more research.
We'll hope. I'm actually going, I'm, as of tomorrow, will be 2 weeks quarantined here, self-quarantined at my house. Almost 3. I went back to work one day 2 Saturdays ago. And then,
how has it been?
It's been all right. I miss my kids. So
right.
yeah, so I get to be home, be dad, clean, cook food stuff. I like it. I like being at home a lot. I am missing my martial arts stuff though, quite a bit.
I bet.
So,
do you do it on your own, in the garage?
Nah, not really.
Your boys are like little baby ducks, and they'll just follow you around and do whatever you're doing.
Yes. Well, one just likes to fight my knee the whole time, and the other one would like to join in.
That's what Mr. Bean does. If I dance or anything, you remember he fights me. I have to pick up and dance with him. He's not okay with being down there, left out of it. He has a huge case, just like your son, of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh. That's some serious shit.
If FOMO is serious, it's definitely peer-reviewed and actual scientific serious. Cases have been documented somewhere.
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm going to do my best to try to keep us on a half an hour for each topic tonight, because we can go on for a long time on any of these topics.
Yeah.
So
the last one is not now the last one, or it still is the last one. The bad word.
Oh yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah. I'm so excited. So you have to stay with us to the end, because the end is just going to be some fun with a capital. Yeah, with a capital F, whatever that is. That's what we're gonna have.
yeah.
I think
it's gonna be fun.
Is the cousin to add abominable.
Twice removed.
And the quarantine silly begins.
Oh, it does. All right. But I love your quarantine silly. It's fine. All right. I'm gonna open up a link here real quick. If I can. Will it let me? It will let me. Okay. It's gonna open up that link. That's not what I'm starting with. Never mind. Hi everyone. This is the League of. I'm kidding. Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign as of Wednesday, April 8th. But he's still on the coming ballots. Any state that's still voting. So you can still vote for him. And it is important to do that because the more delegates he gets, the more leverage he has with the Biden campaign to maybe adopt some of these policies that his followers are fighting for. His whole movement is fighting for, right? It is very important to continue to vote for Bernie. Because Biden is most likely going to get it, but we need leverage.
Oh, he's going to get it all right. No, I'm just kidding.
He's not going to get it. Have you seen?
No.
He's not getting anything for any crap. So something else that's important, though, besides just voting for Bernie, still to give him as much leverage as we could possibly give him.
Leverage. Love and leverage. We're going to give him some leverage. That's what Bernie needs. Leverage.
He needs some leverage.
Hashtag leverage.
Do it down below and share it on Twitter. Hashtag leverage.
Okay, LEAH has our own dictionary. We're starting with our own words in it.
Yeah, we have a hashtag every single episode. Um,
Organically.
so the other thing that's really important is why did the Sanders campaign end or suspend? And where do we go from here? What happened? Do you have any thoughts before I go on my rant, Christy? Or do you want me to go on my rant first?
Go for your rant.
Okay, go for my rant first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to premise this with most of the people here know that I love Bernie Sanders. He's my spirit animal. But that doesn't excuse the mistakes of his campaign and the mistakes that he made um, on his campaign. So I want to say this as lightly as possible, but he really let us down with the fight part of this campaign. He has the right policies. He did push back um, on the debate stage multiple times, but he just didn't throw any real good punches at Biden, especially. He repeatedly says, "Well, Joe's my friend. Oh yes, I think he can beat Donald Trump." No, you don't say that when you're trying to beat in a presidential campaign or any campaign. You just don't do that. That's not smart to do. That's not anything that his advisors should have ever let him say or advised him to say. It was really, really dumb. And Vibrantly Brantley says down in the chat, Jimmy Dore said it best. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, and he used stronger words like feckless leader. And I understand why he said that, but that's not what I'll be saying. He really shouldn't have helped prop Biden up, and he really should have pushed back harder when he said stupid things. And just the fact that, like, it's so obvious that he has like early onset dementia, or he can't finish a sentence most of the time. That's terrifying. We don't want that in a leader. We already kind of have that in a leader. Like, they're both liars. They're both sexual assaultists. They're both terrible, Biden and Trump. Why couldn't he just fight a little harder on it? It doesn't make any sense. And another big thing that Bernie Sanders did wrong during his campaign is he didn't accept any help. He pushed away Cenk Uygur's endorsement. That was, I think, a fuck up. He let the media and the DNC screw over Tulsi Gabbard multiple times and never spoke out about it. And that's the kind of leadership I don't want to see, because she did the leadership kind of thing back in 2016 and gave up her position to back Bernie Sanders, because she saw that he was being done wrong. So I mean, I would have liked to see that in return. Like, I mean, if you can't call out Joe Biden, you should at least prop up someone who's been a friend to you. And from the sounds of it, it's like he wouldn't even accept her endorsement. And he has not fully endorsed Joe Biden yet, but saying that he can win against Trump and calling him a friend and just hardly at all pushing back on Joe Biden, the essence of Joe Biden at all, he might as well have endorsed Joe Biden. Like I said, I love Bernie Sanders. I would love to see a Bernie Sanders presidency before I die, but I feel like he just gave up on it, and he shouldn't have. He should have fought all the way to the convention, because he has more than a campaign. He has a movement. He's the only candidate who had a movement behind him, and I think he let them down, and I think he made the wrong decision. Not for you, Christy.
Well, Bernard Sanders, his life's work, his life's work of activism, of barely winning local elections where he first started, sometimes by 12 votes, after a recount because the person he was running against demanded a recount. They couldn't believe that, this person with crazy hair won, and he's been winning like that ever since. And when I hear people say, well, he hasn't had anything done, or Shillery, I know that's an ad hom and I own it. Whatever. When she said nobody likes him, maybe in your circle, but the people like him and you are out of touch. And I won't say anything else because it would only be bad words. And if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So she is out of touch. End of my statement. Because I'm a good girl. I want to say something I absolutely stand by is kindness matters. It really does. And it sounds cliche and like flowery words, but it just does. I mean, it does. It sounds corny. Okay. It's corny and it's factual at the same time. I own that too. And Bernie is just so darn nice. He's too darn nice. I think that many people in this country don't deserve to have a leader like that. And that's just me, being upset. Would I follow that through with like a policy? No, of course they deserve those policies of his. I'm just being, that was the extent of my throwing a fit about him dropping out. So I still have to be logical. I don't really want them to not have those policies. They just don't deserve them. Bernie has the policies. His life's work has built these policies. Being out there talking to the people, the least among us, the people who need the most help among us. That's who he stands in solidarity with. And so those policies, in the late 50s, there was a movement. I had covered it. If you guys watch all the time, you remember about 4-5 episodes ago, I touched on liberation theology. That's the time when Bernie started protesting. That's when he was handcuffed to 2 Black women because they wanted to tell these girls that they couldn't go to a specific school. They wanted to tear down this area, and the school system there was really bad. They wanted to keep segregation. They didn't want the schools that the Black humans were going to spend their schooling in to be anything but these gross trailers. They didn't have running water. They didn't have bathrooms. They were rusted out. They were cold. They didn't have heat. And Bernie locked himself down in a few protests similar to that one, including one with that being the actual reason. That was when liberation theology was really getting a stronghold in the US, and Bernie was a part of that. So I think that what he did, how I see, and this is my opinion, I'm sure I could find data that backs up my opinion. It's an informed opinion. He listened to newer people this time. He had different people on his campaign, people who advised him to not endorse progressives running in case they lost. I mean, I don't care if they win or lose. If they're the right person and you stand for moral policies, and so does that person, you support them. Period. Even if they're gonna lose by a landslide, like there's no way, you still say that's the person I stand in solidarity with. And he wasn't allowed to do those things. I don't say allowed. It would be hard. I guess I feel like to make Bernard Sanders do something he didn't want to do. However, right. He entrusted them, to make those decisions for him, to help guide his campaign. And maybe he was doing it because logically, if he used the same exact people as before and lost, wouldn't it logically make sense if you did that again, you would lose. But I think what he's missing is those people that helped you were the people with the mindset of liberation theology. You had Muslims, you had atheists, Catholics, Baptists, people who didn't care either way and never even heard what an atheist is, all kinds of people in this coalition. And they were saying inclusive, you know, they stand for policies you want to see happen, you support them. And by letting them go because it would be doing the same thing, expecting different results, I think, and like I said, my opinion, that is a huge wrong turn in the fork, because the people who got you there were the inclusive people.
Right. And can I piggyback on that real quick?
Yeah.
Because this is an issue with AOC right now as well, right? She is not backing what's the word? Primary challengers to Democrats or really any
infuriating. She actually not
candidates.
Even just wasn't supporting them, Max. She was actually supporting the corporate, the person who was being primary.
In a few cases, yeah.
Like, remember how she won? She primaried the corporate. Yeah, that's what these progressives are doing. And she's going, no, don't rock the boat.
Yeah, and that's absolutely awful. Because she didn't even endorse Cenk Uygur, did she?
No.
Like, from what I know, no.
And she wouldn't even be where she is without the Young Turks. Period. They were the only ones. And they weren't just saying, here she is. They were like giving her time and free advertising because they believed in her. Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's a real letdown. And she could definitely come back from it, but right now she's like going towards the shit list, and that really, really sucks. Again, she still has the right policies, but she's not going to get any of that done if she doesn't gain herself some allies. And
she does have allies. She has Nancy Pelosi, her mama bear.
Yes, I know. I don't want to talk about it, Christy. I just wanted to bring it
up.
I don't want to get too depressed about it.
Well, I know
so I'm sorry, you can go on.
Following policies and politics is fairly new to your life. I do want you to know that feeling, that like rock is sitting at the bottom of my stomach feeling just now when you're like, I don't want to talk about that. That's going to happen more times than you can count. Unfortunately, it's just.
Thank you for that. That was very comforting.
Well, I think if you know going into it, it won't be like, oh, another one. I think for me, if someone would have told me that, I would have applied the skepticism that we say everyone should, apply to things in life to everyone. And I did, but, and there's a huge but, I also was excited about her, so excited that this, regular person living with her mother because her dad, it could have been any of us, went up against Crowley, the number 2 Democrat seat in Congress. He was expected to take Pelosi's place. There was just a lot, like almost like a movie, like Rocky, like someone, one of us going and doing that. And so I let it also control my fifis, and my fifis looked past the point that she's a human. And I've been witnessing this for a long time and also been denying it for a long time because I want to believe that the right people can change the party from the inside of it. I mean, Bernie Sanders is inside the system. He is an elected official inside the system, and he has pushed our policies so far back to the center, not to the left, back to the center, where they include people and working class again. And he did that from inside the system. But I also have to admit, when people have points like Bo of the Fifth Column, to change this, to think that you can change the system by getting into the system is a fallacy in itself for most people. There are exceptions, obviously. There are people like Ro Khanna is great. Bernie Sanders is great. Ilhan Omar has been great thus far. I'm going to stay skeptical. However, the system puts so much pressure on candidates, even the good ones, the ones who just went in it for the right reasons, to do good, to change things for the better, to help the people they represent. They have to go now into this system that expects them to spend, you know, out of their 8-hour workday, 7.5 of it dialing for money. You know, there's just this expected thing that you have to work within, and I'm sure it grinds you down. I'm sure it does. When you start noticing that you can't even get 2 steps up to fall 2 steps back. You know, you just can't. You just keep going back because you don't want to play by the set games that the main players have set. That will grind you down. And so my eyes are open to being able to attack it from both ways. I think that there are good people in there that still can help to guide the system from the inside, but we also need we need a fucking party for the working people. This country is the only democracy that doesn't have a labor party, people. And so I think that for Bernie, that he missed, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's done so many things. He started a movement that, with or without him, is just going to snowball. And I do believe that, with or without him. But he also missed an opportunity by, when he said he was stepping down, I think that he shouldn't have. I think that he should have stayed to the convention and demanded, held on to that little power that he has. I will give all of my delegates to you if you, right now, in front of everyone, take on Medicare for all. Take on Medicare for all and school loan, you know, dissolvement. Just those two. Just start there, and then work with me on getting money out of politics and getting free and fair election. I'll vote for Biden. I'll tell everyone they need everything that they need me to call them and explain to them why. Absolutely. But Bernie didn't.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if he goes to the convention and he has all these delegates, and he doesn't give Biden the delegates? Is that an option?
Well, he dropped out, so it's not up to him.
Okay. Well, hypothetically, then, can he just hold all those delegates even if he's looking like he's going to lose? Like, what kind of leverage does he get?
I think it's different per state, honestly. In the federal election for presidential, I'm not sure how those works. We're having to clarify something that just was made to my attention. In the U.S. election system, when a candidate says they're suspending their campaign, it means that they dropped out. It's not saying the words "I dropped out." He's suspending it indefinitely. He's suspending it because he is no longer in the race. I don't know what he will do with whatever he has right now. I think that, you know, it would be, it's so frustrating because there are things that we could do. There are things we could mass mobilize and make sure that everyone knows that even past this primary, when the election comes, if everyone wrote in his name, we could, that would give him the nominee, whether he was running or not. It would be up to him if he wanted to take it. But we are ordered to stay home. So it's a little bit different. I can't knock on doors. And there would be too many people that wouldn't believe it and are not going to vote. I mean, we have to understand less than 50% of our citizens here even vote. So, and my last thing that I had to say about it was, I am very curious to find out what Obama talked to him about the day before he bowed out.
I didn't know about that. I didn't see that yet. All right. So we usually, or like the last few weeks, we've touched base on, what do we do if Biden gets the nomination? But now that he is the presumptive candidate, do you want to recap what you think we should do?
No.
No, don't want to talk about it.
No, because I have a lot of research to do before. Right now, it would just be on my emotions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
And the Green Party is taking up a lot of really good policies, and so I like Howie Hawkins, and I think the more people read about him, they do things a lot like UK. Like here, we do an election before the day of the election for like 2 years. There's campaigning, like it's this circus, and there's rallies and all kinds. Well, in the UK, they announce who is going to be running, then they campaign for a few months, 6 months, I think, maybe max, and then they vote. That's it. And so the Green Party does that too, because it's a waste of resources. I mean, it's the Green Party. So they announce next month, or I think, but they have one who everyone already knows is that it's Howie Hawkins. So, but they announce in the summer, and then you vote in November. So I have a lot to read about him.
Cool. Interesting. I'm excited to hear more about it. I started watching what you sent me earlier today, though. All right. So we'll go ahead and just move on. Next topic. COVID-19. So this is the link that I brought up earlier. I was like, oh, wait, I'm not starting here. So real quick, I really just want to give people numbers, and then we're going to kind of scoot on to our next topic because they're kind of connected. Here in the United States, sorry, I need to widen the window. It's giving me short and skinny. All right. We have 502,000 confirmed cases, so 500,000. We have 28,706 people who've recovered, and now over 18,000 deaths. So it's 18,679 deaths in the U.S. And as of, I think, this morning, so yesterday's numbers, that was calculated to be a death every 47 seconds here in the U.S. But that was when the death count was around 16,000. So we have added since I heard that little stat. For the worldwide, we've had 1,696,139 confirmed cases, 376,200 recovered, and 102,669 deaths. So as of today, I believe we've crossed the line of 100,000 deaths in the world. And I have another link here. I wanted to pull up. I didn't just want to just say worldwide. I wanted to pull up some of the other countries that are dealing with this. So we are the epicenter currently, with over 500,000 confirmed cases and over 18,000 deaths, almost 19,000 now. The number is still going up as we report it. It's only 250 people away from 19,000 deaths. But number two is not Italy anymore. It is Spain. Spain has 158,000 confirmed deaths, 55,000 recovered, and 16,000 deaths, what we were at yesterday. And Italy has surpassed us in deaths again by 97 people. So, yeah, so there's that. The next in line is Germany, then France, then China, which is on the they're starting to settle down, and then the United Kingdom. And I heard 2 days ago, I think, that Britain is winding up to be the new epicenter. They're growing exponentially. Britain?
Yeah, you were just talking really quiet. I was like, Britain?
Britain, yes, Britain. So, yeah. So that's our numbers right now for COVID-19. I heard that at least one state is looking at extending their stay-at-home orders through May. We're not sure how long yet, but I think multiple states are looking at doing that, but no one's.
And Trump will be watching his Easter church this year from his laptop.
Oh, okay.
Because it's very important to him, and it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful, and it's very important, and it's the most beautiful. Because Easter's the most beautiful.
Yes, just like everything else he talks about is the most beautiful.
I don't like to tell people to stay home. Like, that's not what we do in America. But, you know, no churches. I'm not saying for you, but no churches. He says nothing when he talks.
It doesn't make much sense. It's full not sequitur. Full
he is a non sequitur.
Nothing follows. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for the COVID thing, because the next topic actually it bleeds right into it. All right, so I named this one "Not Too Sick for War Crimes" because, well, I can't help but say puns, even if they're distasteful. So
no, it's a perfect title.
Thank you, Christy. Thanks for appreciating it. All right, so I wanted to start this with what we were just talking about. Donald Trump first saying that this virus was a Democratic hoax, but now he says that it'll be a great victory for us if only 200,000 Americans die. So yeah, sorry, my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not handling this super well, but everyone already knows that. You can go to any news or late night show to know that Donald Trump is not handling this well with getting ventilators, PPE, anything. He's just fully incompetent in this. We know this. That's a baseline. I don't want to rehash all of that. But things that I do want to let everyone know, I took little bullet point notes for things that the U.S. and the under the Trump administration is doing around the world right now, in spite of this pandemic that is hurting pretty much every country on the face of the planet. So, first up, get your notebooks out. Actually, I'm going to give you guys a link here in the live chat. There you go. That's my live chat sounds. That is a link to a YouTube video from Empire Files, Abby Martin.
Yeah.
Yes. And most of what I took was from in here or her sources that she cited. So you guys can watch that after you're done watching this. So moving on.
It's not that long either, and it's
not. It's
very informative.
Yes. Yes. So
and
make sure you check that out.
And infuriating. So you might need like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
You know,
some alcohol.
Right. Well, a palate cleanser, like a video of, you know, cute puppies or little penguins or starfish or seahorse, and then watch it and then get ready to palate cleanse again.
I've got it. Just grab a bottle of wine and have some baby hedgehog videos lined up right after that. So in that video, it does mention most of what I'm going through here, starting with Yemen. I don't want to start with Yemen because I don't want things to stop in Yemen. So after a 5-year bombing campaign that started in 2015, 120 attacks on medical facilities from that point in time has happened. And as of March 27th this year, the Trump administration announced that they're cutting aid, including medical aid, tens of millions of dollars in aid to, again, Yemen. The reason for this is Houthi rebels have control of northern Yemen. So they're going to continue cutting aid and probably bombing civilians. But Saudi Arabia is bombing these civilians, not us. We're just supplying the bombs to Saudi Arabia so they can bomb Yemen.
And sometimes flying the plane.
And sometimes flying the plane so they can drop the bombs. Yes.
Drop the bombs.
It's not us.
They bought.
Totally not us. We have nothing to do with this. That's why we're sending any aid to them at all. Also the bombs. Okay, and then Somalia. So these will each be quick. An alleged U.S. airstrike, or drone strike specifically, killed 6 people in a minibus on March 10th, including a 13-year-old boy. All 6 were civilians. Where's the logic in that? And in Africa overall, I wanted to mention this. We don't hear a lot about Africa.
Nope.
And you could imagine that we don't have any bases or troops in Africa, but that's definitely not the case. So I have
Africa has a lot of resources, people. Therefore,
they have a lot of resources. Yeah, ... I have another link for you guys. Close this. Find where we are. There we are. Give you another link here to the full story. But we have 29 bases in Africa. And that is, we have that number because of a Pentagon, if I could talk, Pentagon document, FY19 Enduring Footprint. And I posted a link to that along with an article.
Yeah.
So
it's how it's like a how-to on American imperialism.
Yeah. And the reason I posted it is because this was also in the video, but the article that was linked to it mentioned that a dozen Shabab fighters infiltrated the perimeter of the Manda Bay, Kenya base that we have over there, and one of them took aim with a rocket-propelled grenade, firing a U.S. surveillance plane and touching off an hours-long firefight. So when it was all said and done, the main part here is 2 American pilots and a U.S. soldier was dead. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this U.S. base over in Africa for assumingly no reason. And I say assumingly no reason because, of course, there is a reason to have that base there. But we don't know the reason. We pay for it. We pay for all 29 of these bases and the activities that go on there. But why are they there? We don't get to know any of that. That's some major bullshit. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. And I'm going to highlight this one because I want to end with that one. And, all right. Syria.
Yeah.
On March 5th, the U.S. approved Israeli airstrikes on Syria. And on March 14th, they tightened sanctions on Syria. This was just after the government asked to ease sanctions to deal with the pandemic. So that's inhumane and just wrong. And I feel like I need to remind everyone, for anyone newer who is listening, sanctions are economic warfare, right? And they do this to make the government bend to their will, right? But the issue is the sanctions don't hurt these foreign governments. Who do they hurt, Christy? Can you say it with me?
They hurt the citizens.
The citizens, the
Yeah,
civilians.
it's a form of siege warfare. A form of siege warfare that has been a part of every army since human civilization started living together and growing crops together. Like, it just is. If one group, whether it started in tribes or move into even the 14, 15, and 1600s, where there was kingdoms, you know, one king's army would surround another kingdom and they would stay there with supplies coming for them for weeks, until the people on the inside ate their cats, ate their dogs, ran out of things to eat, had no water, and they had to come out. They had to give up and let the winning team now rule over them and impose their rules over them. Sanctions are a 21st century version of that. Yes, it sounds barbaric, like, oh, we don't do that anymore. That's horrible. You're right. We do it sophisticatedly, and it's over there, and it's a word, sanction. We're not killing them. You know, the American people wouldn't stand for it if our media said, tonight the American troops opened fire and took out a whole village. Like, we'd be like, what the fuck? No, right. Not in our name. But sanctions on an entire country means that entire country doesn't have sanitary products for women at all. So they're making them themselves, like it is the Renaissance times, you know, or all cancer medicine. Well, they can't get it because of sanctions. So people die. You know, they're not allowed to do trade with any of our allies if we have sanctions on them. So where they were getting, you know, think about us. We get all of our everything from everywhere else. Well, so do other countries. We have this huge global economy. And by putting sanctions on them, people die. And I promise you, it's not the diplomats, it's not the governors and the senators and the mayors, and it's definitely not the wealthy and the ruling class. They're fine. It's the people at the bottom. And sanctions are a type of siege warfare. And I am obviously thoroughly convinced of this. And I think that it's immoral and disgusting. And so, yes, sanctions are a part of war.
They are. So the next country here, I have just a handful more. So, Afghanistan, they've been projected to have 100,000 deaths. And early in March, the U.S. signed a deal with the Taliban to ceasefire and bring troops home over the next year. Within a day, so just really hours after signing this peace deal, the U.S. resumed airstrikes on the Taliban, and then fighting started again with the Taliban in Afghanistan. So what did the U.S. do? They slashed $1 billion in aid to Afghanistan on March 24th. Now, let me say the first part that I said for Afghanistan again, to show that this wasn't a non sequitur. There's a projected 100,000 death rate in Afghanistan. And because of this peace deal that they made with a terrorist organization that doesn't run Afghanistan, they slashed $1 billion in aid to Afghanistan, most likely causing tens of thousands more people to die. So that's that's wonderful. And that projection was made before the $1 billion aid was slashed. So
yeah, the U.S. government is negotiating with the same group that is the reason why we're at war in Afghanistan.
yeah. And Biden says nothing will fundamentally change. Sorry.
No,
Iraq.
For war, Biden's counter to Trump about war is not anti-war. His is, wouldn't you like me to be in charge of war when we go to war? I would do war different, not I wouldn't do war.
Right, yeah. I'll bomb people the Biden way.
It's exactly the same but different. Figure that out. Welcome to America.
It's not. He'll rev up the drone strikes like Obama did, and then Trump after him. All right, so Iraq. On March 27th, we targeted top officials and Iranian ships. There's some documents on the link that I gave you guys, the first one, showing that we're just trying to ramp up war with Iran through Iraq, potentially causing like an all-out war with Iran. And on March 13th, we did end up killing some of their military, and on March 14th, we may have killed another Iranian Revolutionary Guard general, because he was killed in a possible U.S. airstrike. So that's wonderful. So Iraq into Iran now, because that wasn't it. Sanctions are making it next to impossible to fight the pandemic as is. Like, we have just the harshest sanctions I think we have on any other country on Iran right now. And I must remind you, they were abiding by the nuclear deal that they made with Obama. And they abided by it a year after Trump pulled out of that deal. So it's just extra infuriating to see them just cracking down on Iran, where they are doing next to nothing to deserve any of it. We're not big fans of their government, but that doesn't mean we need to overthrow their government. We are a democratic nation that is just a dictator to every other smaller country around the world, and that's a non sequitur. That's just it's crazy.
Well, we're not a dictator to other countries if they allow our banks to lend them money, if they allow us to set up trade deals. I'm sorry, not us. If they allow the multinational corporations to run shit to set up shop there and make money, well, then we're best as friends. If our crooks can hide tax and properties in yours, then yours can do it in ours. We can be friends.
Yeah, that's their friends.
Mm-hmm. But if you want to be a sovereign country and demand that any corporations come into your country and set up shop, that they have rules, that they have to treat your citizens who will be working for them correctly. You have to offer them a living wage. You can't dump your crap, and you can't take all of the winnings, all of your profit with you. If you do it here, you have to give back some. Well, they're enemies. That's a dictator, and we must do a regime change immediately.
Yeah. So, to show you how bad it is over in Iran right now, there have been 2,600 deaths in Iran by March 29th. This is the hardest hit country in the Middle East. But now it's over 3,000. And one person dies every 10 minutes from COVID-19. And meanwhile, we are tightening sanctions and continuing war games, I believe, in Iraq, by they're making mock villages of Iran or mock towns, cities, and doing war games. And again, they would be attacking civilians as they are killing civilians with the sanctions. It is very clear the UN doesn't approve of these, and human rights groups rail against them constantly because these are super inhumane. It is, if not, it's at least borderline war crimes, these sanctions on their own. Yeah, so the next country, next to last, is Venezuela. I wanted to mention.
Yes. The whole world, by the way, you guys, the whole world is asking the American government to drop these draconian, murderous policies on whatever country you have them on, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, just right now, it's not fair. So when you go into Venezuela, it's the same but more and crazy, and we're like the bully standing over their food, sticking our finger in their food, like, you gonna eat that? Like, it's just...
Right, yeah, because if this was Vladimir Putin applying these sanctions to any other country, we, like, all of America would be calling for Putin's death. And if that just doesn't show you the one-sidedness of Americans and the American media, it's mostly the media. When you're not told this information, you can't be angry about it. So it makes us look just super insensitive and willfully ignorant. It's disgusting and gives us a disgusting image. And that's why it makes me so mad. So anyways, sanctions by the U.S. on Venezuela have killed at least 40,000 citizens before the virus hit. On March 14th, just after they reported their first case in Venezuela, the U.S. decided to announce that they are tightening sanctions, mostly on their oil, which is where they get most of their money. So like Citgo, that is a Venezuelan company, and we hold their profits in the U.S. So it can't go back to the Venezuelan government to give back to the people because their oil is nationalized, if you don't know that. So that means all of that money that America says, well, you don't get this money back. We're keeping it because we don't like your government. And if you put someone in that we like, maybe we'll give that money back. So like if you let us pick your president, that's exactly what they're saying. That's not hyperbolic. If you let us pick your president, we'll give you this back and you can have it. But then they don't want them to have a socialized, or they don't want nationalized oil. Sorry, Christy, you go ahead.
Wait, no, that's all of that, right? All of that.
Okay.
And it's not just that we'll stop doing things like all of these sanctions.
We don't
the offer was we'll stop all sanctions and give back the stuff that we've stopped from coming to you, and the money that it would be owed to you, and this and this and this. It would all be beautiful roses and baby butts. Like everything would be perfect. However, you have to denounce your president and put in an entire new government. And Maduro or his party, none of them can be in it. It has to be made like illegal. You can't be a part of that party. And Maduro was like, are you fucking serious? Like, there's a pandemic going on right now, and you're like over here and want to like, no, we're trying to take care of our people right now, and you want like play our game and get it. We don't have time for that right now. Where's your mind? Like,
right.
So,
right. But since their oil's nationalized, we don't make a profit off of it.
Right.
And they make a huge profit off of it as long as they get those profits back.
Right.
So it doesn't hurt the U.S.
And
economy at all.
That's not the U.S.
doesn't help us grow.
That's not the U.S. that would benefit people either, at all. It would be these multinational corporations
Right. It's not the country
that
itself.
would benefit, that happen to reside in America. That's who our government is fighting to get into Venezuela for, not to benefit us. Our tax money is not doing any of this to benefit us. It's to benefit a handful, maybe even two handfuls of multinational corporations who, yes, do employ people. They do employ people in other countries as well as in the US. However, they would make the profit. That's not coming into the US. So, fuck no. Like, no. I'm on to you.
Yeah, no, it's really disgusting, and they just don't stop there. I mean, if you haven't been following the Venezuela thing, please go back and find our videos where we mention Venezuela.
Yeah.
And we have more links to other things. This is one of the most egregious situations that our country has dealt in.
I want to say hi to Ashley, who's in chat. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And Smitty had a question. And the question is, are those lashes real? And actually, they are. They're all mine. And then my daughter Isabel's, hers are even longer. I mean, they're just so long. But yeah, I'm a cosmetologist, so makeup and hair. And the trick, you women out there, is when you put mascara on, you want to go up, and then pretend this is the mascara one, and then you want to go down and twist it all the way across, and then turn around and go back up, and then one more time go down, and then one more time go all the way up. And so it gets, if the hair strands, if you only put makeup on one side, they're heavy and it doesn't stay. It's nothing to get attached to. But if you put it on both sides and the brushes make it attach around each hair completely, it's down longer because the mascara has something to hold on to all the way around, and it makes your eyelashes look thicker and longer. So tip of the day that had nothing to do with the topic. You're welcome.
But you answered the question. That's important.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Our viewers come first. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I did, hold on, funny story.
Yeah.
I had an old lady about, I don't know, Stacy and I were together. An old lady pulled my eyelashes in a grocery store at the checkout. What? She was over here. I'm like getting ready to pay. The lady's, asking me to put my card in and put my card in. I'm putting the numbers. I'm just like, because she was real close. And her little hand came up and she pulled them. Are those real?
Jesus.
But I looked, I was probably like 33, 34, but I looked probably 24 at the moment. And so she probably thought I was just some kid. And I was very...
Either way, it's not okay.
I was very surprised, too surprised to be offended. And then I had to watch it from the outside by telling the story. And then it was just hysterical. So I couldn't even be mad. But that little bitch, like, that's my personal space.
Wow.
Grandma.
Wow. Back off, Grandma. Shoot.
Listen, Edna. I'm going to need you to not do that. Oh, goodness. Yes.
That's crazy. All right. So I'm still in Venezuela, so I'm going to finish that up real quick. To repeat it, have it all in one spot here. Sanctions by the U.S. Have killed 40,000 people before the virus hit them. And on March 14th, just as they reported their first case, the U.S. decided to tighten sanctions. They are getting hit pretty hard by this. So the sanctions are really hurting them. They applied for an emergency loan with the IMF, and the U.S. made sure to block it, and they didn't get the loan. And on top of that, Mike Pompeo, a couple of weeks ago now, I believe, put a $15 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, and also bounties on other top officials. And the reason is he tied them to like Mexican cartels, right? Is that right,
He
Christy?
did. He said that Venezuela is now like the hub of cocaine. And so everyone knows on the whole planet that it comes from Colombia. Everyone, like that's never
Super not true.
changed. It didn't just change because that's what you say. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. First of all, our government is putting out an arrest for another government's leader.
Yeah, that's weird. Like they've been at Maduro now for I think about 18 months. About 18 months. So do you think this is legitimate?
No,
One,
not at all.
no. I'm sorry.
This is crazier and grosser and more just blatantly fucking fake than any of the death squads and Contras and any of that went on in Central America, where there were actual narcotics and there were huge narco kings. And even then we were on the wrong side of most of that. This one, we created something so that we could then be on the wrong side of it. Like, what? You don't want to, like, if we pretended that we made something up, why can't we just, that fake scenario, be the good guys of it, since we made it all up? But we're not. We're going to be the bad guys of the made up scenario, where this Maduro was a bus driver. He lived in regular lower middle class, and he is indigenous, so of course that pisses them off. He's brown and he made it, and this brown person, who to them is below them in every way, gets to be above them. Oh, they just can't handle it. And that's not all of it. That's the very 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 surface of it. But he is not a narco king at all, in any way, shape, or form.
Like, look at the evidence that they present.
I know.
Is there evidence?
It looks like a high school play. Like,
it's pretty bad. It's always bad. If it comes to Venezuela or Iran or Saudi Arabia or Israel, you have to take anything that the U.S. Says with a block of salt, because Israel and Saudi Arabia do exactly what they say at all times, and Iran and Venezuela are autonomous from the U.S. and they don't like that. We don't like that. So, and this is just there's like never any evidence to the claims that our leaders are giving us. They just make the claim, and then they make the claim again to justify the claim. Like, no, that's not how you justify a claim.
Nope.
That's
we had
absurd.
weapons of mass destruction. Remember, there were babies getting taken out of incubators. Remember, they're just blatant lies, and these are just more. They're just more. And when are you people going to go, okay, not again? You're not getting me again. Even if it ends up being true, start with, you're not getting me again. Why would you do this? Let me go prove that you're wrong again, because that's how you're going to find out if it's true, by trying to debunk it. Try to falsify it.
Every time that we can prove that it was false, it isn't shouted from the rooftops, right? We don't own up to it, so we know better next time. It has to be leaked by government documents, like someone on the inside.
We go after
and then
the leaker.
We string up the person who tells the truth.
Yeah.
Every time. So it's absolute bullshit. Anyways, the last thing I want to say about Nicolas Maduro and Venezuela is that even though they are having a really hard time dealing with this crisis, Nicolas Maduro did the right thing and did a 6-month rent freeze.
Yep.
For the
rent
citizens
and mortgage. Yeah, rent, mortgage freeze, and utilities, and cell phones. And cell phones.
I didn't know that part.
Phone, because you obviously can't go and talk to people, so you have to have that. Yeah, like a humanist.
He also outlawed layoffs.
Yes.
So people can still work, and that's that's a good thing. And we're still over here still trying to pay for healthcare, which they have. They also have that nationalized, don't they?
Yes, everyone has healthcare. Yes,
Yeah. So he didn't have to do that because he already has it taken care of.
Right.
But they're such an awful government that we can't give them the profits that their people have made by selling the oil, because
they won't bend the knee.
Yeah, it's
to our Joffrey.
absolutely disgusting. We are not too sick for war crimes. Last
That's
thing,
a good name for it.
I saved China for last, just two sentences. They have mostly contained the virus, and they're sending aid to other countries, and they absolutely should, because I don't agree that this is the Chinese virus, right? We identified it while it was in China, but we don't know where it actually came from. And also, no matter what conspiracy like you're listening to, whether they developed it or just kept it hush hush so it would spread, or just kept it hush hush to try to contain it and not let it get out because they didn't want to institute panic. No matter what the reason
from
is.
5G, Mac. 5G, okay? It's not really a virus. It's 5G magic waves. Okay?
Stop it.
So the government can watch you. How can they watch you? Well, from the waves, obviously.
Yeah, so no matter what the reason is, they did try to hide it when it first happened. The doctor that they silenced died from it a month later. They absolutely dealt with it the wrong way, and it cost a lot of people their lives. So we should be sending aid.
An authoritarian government shut down free press.
That's weird. That kind of sounds like our oligarch government. That's strange. Anyways, that's all I have for this topic, actually. And we know that these topics are kind of heavy tonight, and most of the topics recently have been. So we're going to go to a little bit of a funner topic.
Funner
Christy,
is a word, okay?
Funner? Yeah.
Funner is a word.
Do you want to take this one away? Do you have some stuff on this?
Oh, God, it's so good.
Be careful what you say. I don't know if you should actually do it.
Yeah, it's a very bad word. It's, we're trying to be adults, so we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics.
And identity politics.
Yeah, except for no.
So our last topic tonight is the K word. Karen.
Yeah.
Karen.
Don't be a Karen. Oh, I'm sorry I said it.
Don't be a Karen. And there's a lot going on in the world, but this topic really needs some attention because it's one of the most sorry, Christy. It's one of the most pressing issues of our time.
Important.
Karen.
Stop pressing. New story must go out. People are really butthurt because there is a bad word named Karen. Really butthurt. And it's quite hilarious. I actually had a good time in Shuan Head's comment section, just reading. People are I would say mean and cruel, but it's too. I am a humanist, but at the same time, it's hard to apply humanism to describe how some of these comments are, because some of them are just like, that's ignorant. That's real ignorant. Wow. But they're entertaining. Okay, so okay boomer was a thing. And then the internet caught on the internet caught on fire saying that it was ageist and ageism. And okay, I'll grant that to you. It could be used in that way. And that's wrong. You should never be cruel for the sake of cruelty. if your parents are trying to have a conversation with you and you are a teenager and you're not listening and you say, okay, boomer, and slam the door, you're a little asshole. And that was wrong. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Don't do that. That's rude. Go apologize. Tell them you won't do it again. Explain to them that it's cool at school to use and you won't be using it again on them. But if Max says something where I'm like, okay, boomer, the world's not going to end, and it was probably appropriate and very funny.
Probably.
So Karen, Stacy, my partner, she meets Karens on the daily because she has 2 essential jobs. And so she's had so many Karens that she comes home and just says, okay, so we have this crazy person. They expect things that, I mean, I don't know if nobody got the memo that, hey, royalty is on its way and you better have everything ready and easily available and accessible to them. Because if not, you're going to hear, I'm going to need to speak to your manager. And so when someone does that, when it's, I've had to talk to the manager. I've needed to seek out managers and a plethora of examples throughout my life. Never, ever was I a Karen about it. And if your name is Karen, like a few of my friends,
Good one.
I love you. However, neither of the friends that I have that are Karens are Karens. So, if you guys haven't seen this video we're talking about and why it is so freaking funny and needed in the middle of this lockdown.
On it.
Yes,
On it.
please
Here's
link it.
Here's the link.
Link it and watch it because it's so funny.
Because the question being presented here is Karen a slur? Like, like the N-word, or
the one comment was like, this is sexist, ageist, and something else all in one time, and then another one was like, I'll wait, or let me hear you make a slur about a Ben. Go ahead, I'll wait. Like, because they're sexist, they can't. Like, they're so good, and I know I'm probably making it sound like it can't be that funny, but it is. It is that good. Yeah, don't be a Karen is the moral of the story.
Please don't be a Karen.
All right, did you find the question?
Did I find the question?
Yeah.
Which question?
You just said the question of the story.
Oh, yeah, like the question of the whole topic is like, is Karen a slur?
Oh yeah,
yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that's the question at hand.
Or lame, or dork, or geek. I think I'm all the above so far.
I'm at least half of those.
Yeah, antisocial, social butterfly. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Both, depending on my mood.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun. It's fun. So I'm good on ending on that note. That's much funner. Do you have anything else for the week? Do you have a
Today is 45 weeks.
45 weeks?
Today, yes.
Wow.
Look at
That's awesome.
I probably can turn this up. Let's turn it up.
Are you still like super happy with it?
Oh, yes. Wow. I do not plan on coloring it. I can't wait for like all of that silver. And then in the front, I have that white stripe. And then still this black stripe, but dark brown stripe. But behind it's not.
Hold on. Lindsay's coming over to observe.
Mama! Ooh! Look at you!
Look at
You haven't seen it in a while.
I can't hear what you're saying, but you are hot heat. That's all.
So sweet. She's so sweet. Yeah, and it's different.
She is
No
very
matter how I wear it, in some light, it looks like steel, like very steely. And
Yeah.
then in the sunlight, it looks like platinum jewelry. It's so bright and so
Neat.
white. And then,
Very
you know, in here with this lighting, I don't know. I haven't had one moment yet. I thought I would have many moments where I looked in the mirror and said, "Ah, I have old person hair," but that hasn't happened yet. Right
That's good.
here is really white. It's the same as right here. So sometimes I like to put it back, and then you just see how white it's gonna be, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna look like elf hair. I'm so excited. I need pointy ears, and I already have the crown from Lord of the Rings that Liv Tyler wears, and I just can't wait. I'll just be an elf every day, and it won't be a costume because like I grow elf hair. Duh.
That'd be awesome.
You don't?
That'd be awesome.
I'm sorry. I do.
Maybe someday. Maybe
I
someday.
think that I'm past the, you know, oh, people are gonna say like, girl, why are your roots showing? I'm past that because nobody does that long, like without making an appointment. And if I wear it up, even my ponytail has silver in it now. So
Wow.
I'm like, yay! That was my goal 45 weeks ago, was I just want to get it so that if I put it up, the silver doesn't stop here. Like that
Yeah.
it's inside of it. Yeah. So I'm very excited for the next 45 weeks. I can't wait till it's super long and super silver. And I get asked by little kids, "Are you an elf?" Because that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I have been asked if I was a
That's-
mermaid by a 2-year-old little girl. You know, when I do like the big waves,
Yeah.
I was asked
Yeah.
if I was a mermaid by she might have maybe been 3, but I think she was 2. Are you a
That's awesome.
mermaid? A mermaid? And I
What
was
did you
like,
tell her?
"Me?" I said, actually, I am. I play
There you
mermaid
go.
all the time in the pool. Do you play mermaid too? And she was like, yes, I do. And then she says, you are beautiful mermaid hair. I was like, I love you. And it is mermaid hair. You're right. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
kids are
That's
fun.
wonderful. Awesome. Well,
NASA, guys.
hell yeah. I was thinking about wearing my NASA shirt today, but I went with X-Men. So,
Yes.
90s.
Do you like Jessica Jones?
I'm not a big fan of that one. I tried to get into it. I just didn't like it.
She's hot.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Luke Cage is pretty hot too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a
I just want to climb
big
him.
beefy good looking guy.
It's a big old tree.
I like Psylocke, but they haven't made
Yes.
a one of her yet. But Elektra.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I love me some Elektra. And comic book Elektra. I mean, Jennifer
Oh,
Garner is great. It's whatever.
Yeah.
That was a fun, entertaining movie for the family. Real Elektra was a merciless hit woman, and beautiful.
Oh, looks like we are done. Or
Yay.
not. Okay. I saw we went down for a second, but okay, we're back up. But we are about done. We are about done for the night. So thank you everyone for joining us again. Joining us for your Friday night. We appreciate it, and you guys are awesome. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Yes.
And stay safe out there. Try to stay inside, and try and stay connected through here.
Yeah.
Talk to people. Talk to us. Make sure you follow us on.
Thanks for spending your Rona lockdown with us.
Your Rona lockdown.
Rona lockdown. Rona lockdown week 2. Done. Check. See, we can do this.
Yeah, we can do this.
I love you guys. Love you, Mac. Love you, Nacha. And
love you too, Christy. Love Nacha. Thank you, Nacha, for being here with us, ever so silently.
Yes, love you so silently, upside down, Lord and Savior. And Stay humanist.
Stay humanist, for Godless sake.
Yeah.